the Reddit live didn't actually go live properly. So we'll try this again. Insane is live right now, actually. Love you, Insane. I mean, you won't see this, but I love you nonetheless. Let's see. Let's try this one instead. Fortunately, I copy my titles now pretty consecutively. Even though we haven't had that many failing streams, I'm still making sure. This one, however, went live instantly. So indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again on another live stream. Another moment for us to take a breath, for us to calm down, for us to spend some time with ourselves. You know, like today's intention came from Christian as well. I asked him, what do you think I should set as an intention for today's stream? And it was rest. You know, Christian went to work this morning, didn't feel very good, and decided to come back. And in the middle of the day, he basically talks to me and asks me, you know, is he being a bad person or something in that context for doing what he's doing? You know, for taking a day for taking a day for himself, just for actually having a rest day in which he doesn't feel all the way right, and then as a result of that get to take a day for himself. And instantly he had this sense of resistance to that. You know, we have these resistances towards just allowing ourselves to be with people, to be with ourselves, to be away from work. You know, we've gotten so conditioned to this understanding of like hustle culture that we guilt ourselves. We literally ruin our life experience when we can't do that. And it's odd. It really is. Oh, freaking Gob, it's so nice to see you. As it's nice to see you as well, Jasmine and Maren, my friends. Melt, it's nice to be here after 5 days. I've missed you. I've missed you, my friend. Thank you for joining us again, for sharing this space with us. Have you been busy? Any new films made? Anything that you've found? Any information that you've learned? Any divine inspirations that came your way? Please, if you have anything to share, share with me now. I am going to share this little pipe hit, water pipe hit with you, friends. Let me set an intention. Rest, yeah. You know what? That's our intention for today. All of it. We're going to be resting together. So, to rest, my friends. Truly yours. Thank you for the helpful, my friend. It's been forever. I've missed you. How have you been? How's life been treating you? Do tell me. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you again. Vincent is here as well. Says hey Mel. Good to be able to see you again, man. Like I haven't seen Gob, I haven't seen Jasmine, I haven't seen Naren, I haven't seen Truly Yours, and I haven't seen you, Vincent, either. And it feels like a long time. So I feel like I can catch up from you, friends. The quick version of how it's me, good. How are you? How are you doing? How's the studies treating you? For instance, Vincent, are you back at your second job by now, Gob? That's the question I have for you. Just how are you, Jasmine? How have you been? How has your spirit been as of late? And truly, how about you, my friend? I think I've seen you in other streams, maybe a little bit. But how has life been otherwise? Greetings, the bot works again. Yes, I'm happy that the bot works again. Thank you for letting me know as well, Melita. Hey, you're fun as well. Thank you for the wholesome, my friend. I missed you too, my friend. It's been too long. I have been doing pretty good. I'm so happy to hear that, truly. You know, I feel as of late, there's been so much going on. There's been so much tension just in the world as we see it right now. And as a result of all of these tensions, we feel even less likely to rest. And even if we're resting, it's an anxious resting, you know, it's like this sense of urgency to what it is we're supposed to do next. And we don't even allow ourselves to properly calm down unwind, untense ourselves. And I realize, like one of the crazy things about certain experiences is it can, in a moment, almost teach you something that you've been learning over and over again, but you haven't really felt resonated that much with you. And this weekend, I got taught the lesson of just, what it means to me at least, to melt more. Like Friday, I felt myself tensing up. I felt myself closing down. And as soon as I realized I was doing that, and I reminded myself to just kind of ease into the experience, just this restful experience we have right now with one another, instead of being so tense or being so gejaagd is the Afrikaans word, rushed. Yeah, you just be rushed. You know, like we literally will be rushed in our restfulness. We're like, oh, we're gonna go on a vacation, and then we go to this vacation area and we rush from one place to another to see all of the things, to do all of the things, and then by the end of this weekend, we're absolutely exhausted, or vacation, we're absolutely exhausted because even in trying to be restful, if we don't allow ourselves to actually have a restful spirit, we don't rest. We just cannot rest that way, unfortunately. Jovan, again, thank you for the wholesome. It's so nice to have you here, my friend. I think you sent me a beautiful big message, but I haven't actually gotten to read it again yet. And like to you friends who don't know, and if you would like to, Joe Biden got a new verb, Zoe. So like the shortened version of Giovanni's name for me is just Joe. So there's Joe and Zoe, and that bird is gorgeous. Like I'm just imagining in my head right now, gorgeous and massive. Goodness, that bird is so big, Giovanni. My vacations, oh no, Gobs first. I've been just scooting by, trying to keep myself together one day at a time. How's that, Gob? Like, I would love to hear more about that, my friend. What do you feel is breaking you apart? Is there something like particular that's been doing that? Do you feel it's the pressure of all of the things together that is crumbling you? Do you feel it's something in your own behavior that is, unsatisfactory? Is it an expectation for things to be differently that's making you feel this way? I'm here, my friend, to listen and to share with you anything that you want. Please, God. Maybe we can get through it together, man. My vacations are over for today, so topic seems perfect. Took a good rest for 3 weeks. And how was that, Vincent? Especially since I know how hard you were working and how far you had to travel to go and actually, attend your studies. So I feel rest for you especially is something that was absolutely necessary. Do you feel in a way rejuvenated, recharged? Because there's this weird thing about taking a break as well. We we think of it so constantly in our normal like routine, if you will. And then when we get to that point where we can actually take a break, we feel kind of disillusioned with it. We're like, okay, now I have this time. What am I supposed to do with it? And then before you know it, it's over, and you get back into the pattern. And technically, we just are so adaptable as human beings that we get things done when they need to get done. And then we fall in these back and forth patterns, and it creates this sense of, I want to say, discomfort, and I wonder if it's like constructed or engineered to be that way, where we have these either biases slash guilt slash expectations of what our vacation time is supposed to be and how it's supposed to feel and how we're supposed to feel after that vacation time, that we don't allow ourselves to actually enjoy it properly in the moment. And then by the time we realize we haven't enjoyed it properly, it's already over, and then we just start the whole process over again. Jasmine says, I thought I was missing you all very much. Though I was missing you all very much, I have been quite wrapped up in nature, walking, kayaking, hiking, doing the things I've wanted to do, but always tell myself I don't have time for. Jasmine, like you have no idea how happy reading that message makes me. Like that is exactly what all of this is about. Like this is just a space in which we can show up and encourage one another to do stuff like that. Be able to receive that type of energy that you just shared with us, Jasmine. So 100% thank you for doing that, not only for me, the message you just sent, but doing it for yourself, making time for yourself to actually be wrapped up in nature, as you were saying. The irony is that you had to unwrap yourself from your own life in order to get wrapped up in nature. Because that's where it comes from, the whole, I don't have time. You get so wrapped up in how you do things, how you like to do things, how you want to do things, that you don't leave any room for anything to be any way other than that. And I'm happy that you're not doing that, Jasmine. Thank you so much for sharing with me. Vincent says, my sister suddenly said to me today that my skin seems to be glowing, like I was pale, as I have dead for a long time, but the rest worked wonders. And I'm even sleeping average of more than 6 hours every day too. It's been 110 days today since I first joined your stream. Time really flies by. Now all you are a part of my daily life. Really had a wonderful time with y'all. And as with you, Vincent, yeah, dude, 110 days. Goodness. I remember the first time you showed up as well. Like I was sitting in a spot where the wall was on my left. I believe that was the first time. It's been such a like I remember like I think one of the first conversations we had was about you not sleeping properly. And then it became a thing. Just me making sure you sleep properly every single stream. Creating this space for us. Thank you, Vincent and friends, for sharing this space with me. I had this conversation with another friend today where she complained, or not complained, apologized, not apologized, exclaimed, that she feels bad that she's been missing the streams. And I told her she doesn't have to feel bad that she's missing the streams. I'm the one that shows up every day, and no matter where we are, no matter what it is we're doing, we're still going to be consciously evolving. That is something that's ceaseless. We just get to do it together in this space. So the fact that this space is going to be here, at least now for me, indefinitely, is what I take solace in. You don't have to be here, but I appreciate it when you are here, and that's what it's about for me. It's just this constant growth process. And weirdly enough, it's been so cool seeing new friends come in as well. Like I'm thinking about Blushing, for example. And I think there was another Blush friend as well, actually. And the conversations we have, almost feeling like it's this conversation had between friends that know each other forever. And yet it's literally had in a moment where two people interact with one another for the first time ever. And it just reminds me / shows to me again that there is this kinship of spirit that we have with one another. Julia Cornelius. Wow, it's been a while. It's a gateway process. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! It's gateway process. How are you, Mel? I'm so good, Julia. I'm so good. Thank you for joining me again. How long has it been? It feels like it's been almost like 6 months since I've seen you last. It's so nice to have you here again, my friend. How are you? How's life been treating you? Have you learned anything? Have you grown in the ways that you didn't anticipate? Please be willing to share if you want to. I would love to know, my friend. And thank you for joining us. Rest. I'm thinking about my breath, and how can that be integrated into rest. But weirdly enough, again, if you want to integrate your breathing into your restful state, it's again going to be something that you have to be forcing. You're going to have to take control over your breath and actually breathe with intention. Maybe better than that is to use your breath or the awareness of your breath as a reminder that you are the one in control. Yes, perfect timing. I found you here. I'm great. I'm so happy to hear that, my friend. That makes me so happy. Life has been interesting, as it always is. Ceaselessly learning from it, Like it's one of the best things about life as well. We sometimes complain, and I feel we complain out of out of play almost, as like oh, like throws the hair, puts the leg up type of behavior. It's this like coy. Maybe that's the word. We're being coy with ourselves and complaining about things, knowing that these things eventually actually like contribute to our growth as well. Murder, murder. It's nice to have you here, my friend. Thank you for joining us, murder. Man, human beings. Jasmine says, it is amazing how much better I feel after having a dose of nature. More energetic, I breathe better, I'm happier. I feel as though spending time in nature was almost something that should be prescribed to me. So, Jasmine, I don't know if you know this, but we actually have conclusive studies that spending time in nature has mental health benefits, can upregulate the amount of good neurotransmitters you have in your body as well. You're quite literally recognizing fractals within nature. And then the cool thing about nature as well is, in its fractal nature, it doesn't, or you rather, don't find any flaw within it. If you see a crooked like tree or something growing around something else, you understand intuitively why that is the way that it is. It might, each and every single tree, for example, not look identical or perfect in whatever your conception of what a perfect tree of that species is supposed to look like. And you understand that. You understand that there are these differences. You understand that there are these different circumstances. Some trees grow on rocks, some trees grow in open sunlight, some trees had big trees protecting them from the wind for a long time. And as a result of these different conditions, these trees grew differently. And as a result of the different way that they grew, they have different characteristics. And it's the exact same thing for human beings. We go through the exact same processes. We have different environments, different influencers, different factors that end up like shaping us as human beings. And the fact that we can experience slash interpret nature in that way, judgment free, going through it with the sense of awe, the sense of inspiration, the sense of just being happy that the beauty is with you. I believe we can do the same thing for humans. Susie, good morning to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How's life been? Have you learned anything that you would like to share with us? I would be more than open to hearing anything. So good, always good, my friend. We're putting that into the world. My dad has this thing where if someone asks him how he's doing, he'll say, always good, sometimes better, but never bad. And it can sound a little bit wishy-washy. Always good, sometimes better, but never bad. But it's just, again, what you're putting your energy towards. Bad is dead, lol. Yes, Susie. Bad doesn't have room here, our energy to is going to be the things that we're going to be pulling from. This, for instance, and I so thoroughly remember having this conversation with Christian as well. He was sick on Friday. Last Friday. Last Friday. And we were having like an experience together. And he basically came out and he's like, oh, I'm dying. Like he's like saying these things about himself, like, oh, I'm dying, I'm sick, I feel horrible, I this, I that. And then I'm just like, bro, instead of saying I'm all these things, just like add a little bit of a twist to it. Like instead of I'm dying, I feel like I'm dying. Instead of I'm sick, you say I'm getting better. Instead of make it end, say I can endure this. I am enduring this. And just for like that shift of intention, he started feeling better and he's not sick anymore. It's just it's what we want from this world. This world doesn't distinguish. Like whatever you ask for, it says yes. Like there's this saying, I think it's in the back of the book. Yeah. And it's 3 words, and it just goes, God says yes. God says yes. Whatever you decree is. God will support you no matter what, good or bad. So hold only thoughts, speak only words, and do only things that you want God to agree with. It's a little bit intimidating. Very, very much so, actually, but we try. I needed that for real right now. Mixed dude. I'm so happy that I decided to read that, my friend. It's all for you then, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and appreciating as well. What do we want? What do we want? I believe fundamentally we want every single human being to be at least taken care of. We can't guarantee every single human being happiness, but we can at this point guarantee every human being's safety and security when it comes to livelihood. The medical industry as it is right now, like especially just thinking about the American medical system, that can't continue. We don't want that. So we want stuff like that to change. Buildings, for instance, these malls, being closed, and then at the same time having extremes amount of homeless people. We don't want that. Children starving in certain countries. And then literally I think something like 25% of the foods we have in cities going to waste at the same time. We don't want that either. And then I genuinely believe that the more we kind of identify these things and make sure we understand where we want to go, these things are going to change. I think Susie's going to speak some words I like as well. I died once and got to the particular expression, God wants us to enjoy this experience as much as we can, and in spite of its laws. Yeah, you see, the thing is, Susie, I honestly believe the laws that have been applied onto this reality is human laws. It's our understanding of how things should be, or at least one person's understanding of how it should be, and then their conviction to convince others is that way, fundamentally. We need UBI, Universal Basic Income, and healthcare in America, and that's what the people will demand soon. I agree, as actually Susie and I, like 100%. We want people to be able to burn out. We want people to be able to burn out, change jobs, have a death in the family, have a child without struggling. Exactly, Susie. Like the fact that we punish people, just for trying to figure out this life, and we do it to the point where we literally hurt people. People are actively committing suicide because of this pressure, societal pressure of what is a successful person supposed to be, and then they feel like they don't have a means out of it, and then they take their own lives, and it's happening more and more and more, and it's a symptom of a broken system, and I believe it will change. Absolutely, humans hijack what God has made good. It's true. It's true, Susie. I was reminded of this line from Murakami's book I read a while ago. It was amazing. In it, there was a character who was crazy about maps and was in university geography department, and he loved maps. I mean, how many people are there who look at the map the same way a connoisseur looks at paintings? The author describes that we only need only a few people like these in the world. People who are crazy about maps, jobs that are in the shadows of mainstream works, and our lives would go on. I agree, actually. I completely, Vincent. In that way as well, every single one of us is a genius. We just haven't found our maps in this case. Hello, bro. Hello, Stalker. It's so nice to have you here, my friend. How have you been? How's life been? It's been a long time. I've missed you as well. You're inside today? Oh, Mary Confusion. I've been inside for a while now. I've been outside twice this month of November, technically. I'm living with a friend right now. We're on the third story. I have access to the internet here. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me, Thor. We're gonna be inside for a little bit longer. But somewhere in December, we're gonna go outside again. It's gonna be a vibe. I'm genuinely looking forward just to the contrast, like as of late, I've been kind of like stuck in an apartment again. And it's been a very good opportunity for me to kind of look inward again. Like things are still beautiful, obviously, there's no lack of beauty. But this contrast of being kind of in the city slash being able to be on a farm kind of environment and being able to go through that contrast is something I'm genuinely looking forward to as well. Hello to you, Mustafa. I'm from IRN. I love you, man. I'm from Iran and I love you. There we go. Thank you for joining me, Mustafa. It's so nice to have you here. I don't know why. I don't even know if it's disrespectful. Please do tell me if it is. But I feel like Iran probably has pretty strenuous laws on marijuana use. Yeah? Yeah? Oh. Would you mind if I smoke a little bit? You would? Why? I'm joking, dude. Man, I don't really have a scraper tool here, so I'm trying to coax gravity into to helping me. You know what? Maybe if anything, I'll take this as an opportunity to not. So Naren says, nothing revolutionary. I have been away for a friend's wedding. Experienced a cocktail of emotions. On topic, I think I have always confused rest and procrastination. I am never sure which one it is when I'm not tending to my pipeline of work. That's a very good point, Naren. Like, I'm very curious about your cocktail of emotions, about the wedding as well, especially if it's a friend's wedding. Is it the cocktail of emotions? Yeah, cocktail of emotions. The cocktail of emotions that goes along with the questioning of yourself, like why you're not getting married? Or is it like one of those cocktails of emotions? Is it a cocktail of emotions where you're feeling your friend isn't supposed to marry this person? Uh, are you in love with your friend's significant other? Even more cocktails of emotions. Like, which ones are it? Like, if you'd be willing to share, Naren, I'd be more than willing to listen as well. And then, as you're saying, on topic. You don't have to be on topic at all, like, genuinely. Rest versus procrastination. I think if you do it with intention, I think maybe that's the difference, Naren. Like, if you're going to rest, like we actually had a friend, still have a friend probably, that like tuned into the streams called Chill with Purpose. So if you're going to relax, do it with a purpose. Like genuinely try and get yourself to, calm down, relax a little bit, feel better about your current predicament. So do it with that purpose. And the more we do that, I mean, intention setting is something very central to my life at this point. It genuinely helps. And I don't know what it is genuinely. Like, I mean, the way that I understand it or articulate it to myself is the fact that fundamentally, if you think things, they have these little neuronal maps that they run through in order for you to actually think the thing you're thinking. So, in order to coax myself into feeling something, I basically press the button or coax those neuronal activities out of myself. For instance, the bong hit we took today, technically a bong, bong hit we took today, I took with the intention of rest. And it is making me pretty restful. Maybe a bit too much, but it is beautiful. And I haven't actually set an intention for drinking water today. Maybe rest and rejuvenation. We'll go to both sides of the spectrum. Yes, I tend to feel the same way. Rest equals procrastination. Thank you. You know, I genuinely believe, Jasmine, that the reason we feel like that is because of this societal understanding of what a productive person is supposed to look like and what a productive person is supposed to be doing, you know. But what if this 21st century understanding of productivity is fundamentally false? You know, I genuinely believe that if you, instead of trying to satisfy the world's understanding of productivity, show up consecutively, consistently for something that you believe in, it doesn't matter how productive you're going to be because you're eventually going to get there. It's just a matter of time. Well, expansion without limits is false in physics and in life. Expansion without limits. You know, like I genuinely believe as well, Susie, that if we create some limits for ourselves, it can be a good means to be more creative. It's like you're limiting your creative expression to a canvas instead of just starting to paint your picture into empty space or into space, like onto the floor, onto the walls, onto whatever you know you see in front of yourself, and then making that your image. You kind of do it on a canvas, which makes it easier, but you are in fact limiting yourself by doing so. Our environment is definitely limited, and the billionaires are going to destroy it. Our environment is limited, and the billionaires can destroy it. They're not going to. Let's hope, Susie. I mean, the worst part about the predicament we're in, you know, us normal people, if you will, is we don't have any means to do anything about them. We feel super powerless. These people have, you know, collections of wealth, and most of them have a lot of their wealth within whatever you know business they have stocks in or whatever business they own. So it's not necessarily fluid cash in their pockets that they can just kind of use whatever they want to. But the problem is that there is these you know extreme power slash financial indifferences between people on this planet, you know, and it's been that way for so long. And the problem that we're facing right now is that that discrepancy is growing so exponentially that people are now literally on almost different classes of existence. Like, there's people that literally do not ever have to worry about any financial scarcity again, while other people don't have access to clean water. You know, like that, it's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. But it's changing. It is changing. It's not permanent. Wealth hoarding is a mental illness. It is. It literally is. Hoarding is a literal mental illness. And unfortunately, the reason that happens is because we somehow fundamentally understand that there is a value to this life, but we don't realize that the value to this life is what I would call social. Like, you have social currency just by being you, and you're infinitely rich. You literally have uncapped wealth, and you can give that wealth to other beings. And by them spending time with you, they basically give that wealth back to you as well. And this back and forth giving of this infinite, recuperating, ceaselessly creating wealth is the only way that you're going to find life satisfaction. But we can't see that. You know, it's not something we can quantify, but we like to quantify things. So we developed a language, numbers, in which we can quantify progress, value addition, you know, you getting points, if you will. And then that became an obsession. Because the more in this society, the more points you have, the more points you can get. And the more points you can get, the more points you have, and the more points you have, the more points you can get, and then it becomes this obsessive loop, a mental illness. As Susie says, Susie says, well, they have a major problem because most of the American public believes that they are just making up numbers and money now. So it will cease to be a political arguing tool soon. And once money is taken out, you see our system for what it is. Yeah, and the fact that we, every single country basically is in extreme amounts of debt is again just this banal system. It makes no sense. Yes, why are you having a white background? I have died and gone to heaven, friend. I don't know if I'm allowed to say stuff like that. I'm joking. I have not died. I'm still very much alive. I am inside, though. I am inside. So that explains the white background. White is all colors at once, technically. You are right. This is the, what do you call it? Combination of all other colors into a single spectrum. So every single potential background is encapsulated at the same time behind me. You just have to tune into whichever one you want. Widescreen it on your brain. Make your own reality. Put me in your own environment. Is it cold? No, not really. A little bit. I mean, it's not cold. It's comfortable. Like it's more comfortable than it usually is here in South Africa. It rained a bunch this weekend, so we get to have good weather now. That's how it works. I'm happy you appreciated that, Susie. Setting intentions has helped me become more productive by questioning what my intention is for my actions. Instead of taking a moment to enjoy something, no longer is seen by me as procrastination, but as a preparation for the following task. That's beautiful. I really like that, Jasmine. So, it's almost like you are both taking a break and being present within your current task as a preparation for your next task. But at the same time, I'm feeling, are you being very present within your, what word to use exactly, your moment that you're taking? Because I feel if we're only taking that moment so that we can prepare for the next thing we're doing, and we're letting our minds run too much and we find ourselves thinking about 10 other things or 10 things that we're supposed to do or going to do when we do the next task, I feel then we're also not resting again. And like that's the real thing that I actually was thinking about, or coming into the stream to talk about. Like I was saying at the start of the stream, but it was literally within the first 2 minutes. Christian stayed home today, and at one point he looks up to me and he asks me if he's a bad person, because he went into the office and then came back, and then he asked me oh, is he a bad person for doing that? And he feels like a bad person just because of what this societal understanding of an employee is supposed to be, and now he's not being that perfect example of this perfect employee, when in fact he's just allowing himself some time to actually take care of his own mental health. And the thing that's bothering me about that is the fact that even though he has this time to himself, even though he has a moment to rest, he's still not allowing himself to. On a mental level, he's still actively exercising this doubt, exercising this guilt about what he's doing, exercising this potential of his employer or etc., being unhappy, disappointed in him. And then he doesn't allow himself any rest, even though he is actively trying to rest. And that's, I think, the genuine thing that kind of illuminated what I wanted to talk about today, or the thing I was learning, just by observing, just by watching what the world kind of does. I feel genuinely that's where most of the information comes from. I had a friend ask me once, how much or how long do I spend preparing for these streams every day? And it's this weird duality of I both spend the entire day preparing for these streams, and I also don't spend any time preparing for these streams, because I'll be present within my day and I'll try and find something and I'll think about it, in that way I never stop thinking about it, but I don't I don't actively like write scripts or something like that or speeches. It's this weird mental gymnastics is the best word that I can find to describe it. I'm constantly trying to think about better ways of understanding, better ways of articulating, better ways of expressing, either to myself or to someone else, an interpretation. And that's all it is at the end of the day as well. Like I don't think anything I'm saying in these streams is absolute fact or have to be taken with what's the word I'm looking for now? Have to be revered as absolute, uh, law of it, or of sheer importance. But the feeling, just feeling, whatever these things make you feel, that's what's most important to me at least. I could see it as taking a break, as not being connected to productivity and being in procrastination. However, if I feel the impulse to take a walk or sit in the hammock, usually I see that as an action that gets nothing done, as a lazy, negative action. You see, that's the thing, Jasmine. Who says it is? Like again, with this societal understanding of what a successful slash productive person is, someone can say that, oh yeah, Jasmine laying in the hammock is now not being the example of the productive person. But if you think to, like, and I know these extremes can be a little bit uncomfortable, but if you think into the extreme of laying on your deathbed one day, are you going to be happy that you actually took time for yourself, took time to calm down, took time to actually, spend time in a hammock, look at the clouds, look at the trees, look at the ceiling if you want to, and just be present with your life instead of this active rush towards where you find yourself in that environment, that experience. We like life as a human being is already so short, but for some reason we don't have the means of properly recognizing that. And the restful, peaceful, calm moments within it is the ones that we genuinely appreciate. They're the ones that we value the most. This is all like an internal struggle of being human. So socially, we need other people. Allowing others to influence how you take care of yourself is silly, but ultimately compulsive. Awkward male, what a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah, you're right. You're completely right. Allowing others to influence how you take care of yourself is silly, but ultimately compulsive. And I feel it's this hijacking of the fundamental human beings want to fit in. On a evolutionary level, if you didn't fit in with the rest of your tribe's people, if you will, your clan, your posse, your group of monkey, you would literally die. You don't fit in, you die. Oh, you just die. Now lions are eating you because you have no one to defend you. So on that level, we fundamentally needed to fit in no matter what. But now we live in a society where these dangers have been taken care of. Food scarcity is at an all-time low. Our access to technology, and as a result, our access to information is at an all-time high. And we do not need these tribal understandings of life anymore. And yet we still kind of are being coaxed into these tribal understandings. And then as a result of our separation into tribalism, we are divided as a people. And then it's much easier to kind of just feed us a bunch of bullshit, keep shaking the jar, and let the ants fight one another. We're supposed to evolve. I think that's what's expected of us. The whole, but ultimately compulsive. Maybe we need to evolve past that compulsivity. Hopefully, awkward male. I've had enough jobs where management holds those times against you. Walking out of those jobs was always worth it. Those people don't mean anything to me. And yet awkward male, they are you, my friend, you know. And that's the real thing that you should take away from it, is the energy you gave, the love you gave, the smiles you shared, the potential good conversations you had. That's what you've given, you know, that's what you cared enough to do. That's what it meant, if you will. And it doesn't have to mean more than that. You don't have to hold them in negative regard or positive regard in your heart. But they've been with you, my friend. You send them away in love. Ryu! Hey Mel. Oh, it's me, Glitchy. I finally got the time to change my YouTube name. Well, do you want me to call you Ryu instead? It's nice to have you here, friend. Thank you for joining us. Hey, it's Andy! Listening while driving, so I can't really chat, but keep making the magic happen. Andy. Closing my eyes and I see. Is the boat? I think it's a boat. It looked kind of like a boat, but the boat was being cut in half, and then the cut in half was splitting open, and then the split open, cut in half boat was fractaling outwards, constantly being cut in half, and then flowering. I love you, Andy. Thank you for joining us, man. Drake side, Drake side. Yes, drive safely, please. Man, I don't know if I should take this bong hit now. Maybe that's the best time to take the bong hit. Rest, rejuvenation. What is this one going to be? Evolution. You know, I was just talking about our need to evolve, so I'll do that for that. Whew. Yep, that's gonna do the job. The rejuvenation trend. I wonder, you know, something that's been fascinating me is our ability as human beings to create a sense of calm or restfulness within one another. I wonder if it's a body language thing, a tonality thing, a voice thing, an expression thing. Maybe it's all of it together. And I'm trying now. I feel like I'm trying to drive the car right now. Usually the car drives itself, and now I'm like, oh, what does this button do? I want that button. Should I press all the buttons? Do let me know. What, in your opinion, creates a sense of restfulness, a sense of peace, a sense of calm within you? What subject matter helps you with that? Maybe that's another thing to consider as well. Is what can we talk about that brings us calm? What brings me calm? I don't know if that's a very good thing to bring me calm. For some reason, like the thing that came to my mind was technology, and fundamentally, you know, that's something that can be a little bit of a yikes if I only find calm in that. My awareness, you know, just the fact that I know where I am. I think I know what I am, at least in this plane of existence. I have thoughts, I have feelings. My senses are constantly feeding into my experience of. That awareness of is of utmost importance and brings me a sense of calm as well. Maybe my senses as a thing that can bring you calm. So if you want to practice with me, just becoming aware of what you see right now. What's in your immediate environment, even if you're sitting inside. You know, look at things that you put in your room or your office, in your car. Think back to why you put them there. Think back to where you got them. How much feeling, how much experience, how much layers of infinity there are, and just the immediate things around you. And you can become aware of your hearing, Are there any extra noises in your environment? Is it quiet? What does your own breathing sound like? Do you smell anything? I'm smelling a kind of smoky, smoky scent for some reason. I don't know why. Please do comment if you can give me a hint. Oh. Become aware of what you feel around you. You know, maybe your clothing, maybe yourself pressing down on wherever you're standing or sitting. COVID took my sense of smell. It's so weird now. Susie, how long has it been? How long has it been since your sense of smell has been taken? I'm so sorry to hear that. You call me whatever you like. Ryu, it is. Thank you for joining me, friend. It's so nice to have you here, genuinely. Larissa Toasty, learned you too, Isha. I love you too so much as well. Man, just going through these few senses, 6 numbers and 15 days or so. 615 days or so. Oh, that's been a long time, Susie. It's permanent for a lot of young women, it turns out. Permanent. Not being able to smell. Has your sense of taste been affected as well, Susie? You know, the crazy thing about the way that I eat food is I refuse to actually put any of it in my mouth before I smell it. And it's something that my parents and like my friends make fun of me for doing as well. But it's like this, it's another compulsive thing that I do. I have to smell things before I can eat it. I can't smell burning, and yes, things taste different. Just different or lackluster? Like, is there any lack in your experience? Did you also have one of these quips, if you will, where you wanted to smell things before? I feel like I smell with my mouth now, so I try to wrap your brain around that. Oh, I mean, that sounds like some synesthesia level shit, which does make sense to my brain. And I'm curious, are you curious about, for instance, uh, yeah, I'm just gonna ask if you're curious about like a psychedelic experience to try and maybe get your smell back, or maybe even to improve your ability to taste things. Like I can taste the air better than I can smell it. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, Susie. It's synesthesia. Technically, our brains are this interconnected mass, if you will. It has a bunch of separations within it, and we have different parts in our brain that process different inputs. But we can get our wires crossed, if you will, and have inputs from different senses go into different areas and then be interpreted as different experiences for our taste, for our ability to see and hear, smell, all of it. I hope I get echolocation. You try super hard. Naren says, oh, so the cocktail of emotions are because my friends who got married have been my flatmates for about a year now. They are moving out to move in together. I'm excited for their new beginnings, but things around my house will change again. Naren, that makes a lot more sense. I wish. I understand what you mean. Yeah, thank you so much for being willing and vulnerable and open enough to share that with me. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that change can be so abrupt as well. Especially if you've gotten so comfortable with your ability to have conversations easily and readily. Having roommates that you actually like roommating with and being able to sit down and have conversations with one another is something that you easily take for granted, and secondly, something you're going to absolutely miss. And you're preparing for that right now, Naren. But I'm sure you're strong enough to deal with this. I'm happy that you can be happy for them nonetheless. Maybe this is the next chapter in your story as well. Maybe this is exactly what you need. Who knows? Life can be strange sometimes. Marvin, thank you for joining me, friend. It's nice to have you here. Man, it's been an experience already today. We've been having good chats. Talking about rest. what that means, how we're supposed to, if there's a better way to, and I feel we kind of consolidated on this understanding. At least I feel in myself, like going forward, if I want to put myself into a more restful experience or interpretation of my reality, I'm just going to go through like a checklist of my senses. Technically, it's just you becoming more aware or bringing yourself more into the present moment. So maybe that's what true restfulness is. You're not thinking about where you're supposed to be next or what has been. You're just actually here. False Satan for giving us this. Praise Satan. By the heel. I didn't see you in forever. You come in hot. You're so hot. Thank you. Praise you, my friend, for giving me your glorious energy. I appreciate that as well. You're it, my friend. You're it. Praise this experience, if anything. Man, the more I realize, the more I feel, the more I think I know, the more I realize I don't know. And it's intimidating because I still consider myself young, at least on a bodily level. Oh goodness, what is 20 years of life gonna do to me? It's already kind of put me through the grinder. Found my 40s. Who am I gonna be? Who do I want to be? That is a hard one. Am I just going to be a ball of uncertainty? How much certainty is naivete as well? And am I going to be willing, am I going to be wanting even of the experience of losing that certainty? That's what I'm really curious about. God will show you your path, but you will have to be receptive and good. I agree with you, Susie. I think each and every single one of our lives is the path that is meant for us. And in that way, there is no life that is more worthy, more significant than any other life lived or that will be lived. Your life is of infinite value, and you're here right now to experience it against all odds. The odds of you being here is fundamentally, inconceivably unlikely. Pretty much, right, Marvin? We drink like we have to, or rather, on a health-wise level, drink like 8 cups of water a day. A single cup of water has 8.4 to the power, 8.4 times 10 to the power of 24 water molecules. Literally more molecules than there are like grains of sand on our planet. We're just like drinking in a glass. It's weird, yo. And we take these things for granted. We're like, yeah. Oh yeah, you're just like drinking a glass of water. Burr, 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 burr. This is amazing. All of it's amazing. All of it is magic. And all we have to do is become aware of that. Be present within it. And it's a challenge. It's like life desperately wants you to be here, but in a way that is convincing you that you're stuck here. Like, oh, you're a small little you, and then when you die, you're gonna be gone forever. So now you're stuck here, and you have to hold on for dear life, turning you into a ball of sinew. So tensed. Taking for granted is one of the worst things we can do to ourselves, and it's so natural to us, right? I think it's again our adaptive nature, Susie. We're adaptive beings. So taking things for granted is part of being adapted. It's a little bit counterintuitive, unfortunately. Jasmine says, have you or would you consider doing guided meditation? I enjoy taking it in what was around me, what I was sensing. Would love to have you guide me through that again. Oh, Jasmine, I would love to do that actually. Maybe that's actually a a good idea. I don't know, like the first thing my mind goes to as well, Jasmine, is now I want to go and write something down. I want to like compose whatever a guided meditation was supposed to be. And in that moment, while we were doing that, potentially guided meditation, it just flowed from that sense of, okay, now here we are, this is what we're doing. And in that way, I constantly feel this duality of things have to be in the way they are in the moment, and I shouldn't be forcing them. And then the perfectionist nature in me wants to be, stipulated, left brain, right brain, cognitive dissonance, going back and forth. What's good, says Kyle. I'm good, friend. Are you good? I hope you're good. Please do tell me you're good. How's life been? What have you learned? Oh, if anything, do tell me. Northern Lolo, hello, Mel, sending you and everyone love. Thank you. My beloved friend, it's been forever. It's so nice to have you here. Oh, man, my back is killing me. My friends, I appreciate you sharing the space with me. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again tomorrow. I love you. I am now. I got off. I'm happy to hear that, Kyle. You have a good time, my friend. Take you for granted. Thank you for joining me, Jovan, on the YouTube as well. I love you, friends, eternally. Thank you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Wrong emoji. It's completely okay, Jovan. There are no wrong emojis. Oh, Jovan. Oh, Jovan. Ba-dum-bum. Thank you, synchronicities. Thank you, universe. Thank you for being here with me. The odds of you being here and me being able to share that with you is exactly the way it was supposed to be as well. I love you, Jovan. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.